We joke on this show about how no matter what day of the year it is, there is somewhere a women's summit going on. And this was last year on International Women's Day. South by Southwest organized a panel for a bunch of feminist icons to talk about how hard it is to be a woman in society today. And it included Meghan Markle, Brooke Shields, and others. And Meghan Markle, she's kind of like some, relative of yours who has dementia and tells the same story over and over. One of her favorite stories about herself that she loves to retell is from back when she was 11 years old in 1993. And she was a feminist even back then. She protested against a commercial for dish soap, which said that women are battling tough grease on pots and pans. How dare they imply that women are the only people in society who do dishes?
I suppose the counter argument would be like, who's the guy that's going to come out and ask for male representation in dishwashing commercials?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, is there a guy who comes out for Heinz 57 or some type of ketchup and is like, look, I want commercials of men making sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, my wife asks me to go to the kitchen and make her a sandwich all the time. Mm-hmm. And I do that. So where is my male representation in sandwich making?
Well, this is proof that Meghan Markle is a congenital feminist. Feminist from birth, born and raised that way. And she has always been a Karen. She has always been eager to jump on a victim narrative, even back when she was in elementary school. And then she was celebrated for it in a whole news segment. We'll show that in a minute. But Brooke Shields recalls on an episode of the podcast run by King Charles's goddaughter, India Hicks, hearing Meghan Markle tell this story and thinking it's so ridiculous and just far too precious, as she put it. And she clapped back and had this very awkward encounter where she said, well, I don't know, when I was 11, I was playing a prostitute in Pretty Baby.
I tell you.
No.
Oh, God, I don't know if you'll have to cut this out, but you might. I don't know. You'll decide later, okay?
This is the best bit of all.
This is the best bit of all. So, I don't know if I'm going to get hated, but I get a call from Katie Couric, and she's doing South by Southwest. Big, big, big. They're closing the middle arena. We're closing it out. We're the only one. It's thousands of people. It's Katie Couric, Meghan Markle, and a doctor. And Katie asks me to be a part of it. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. You know what? Just do it. Just go talk about what you need to. We get there. Katie asks the first question to Meghan and talks about how, at a young age, she was already advocating for women, etc. So she starts talking and telling a story about how when she was 11, and she keeps saying, well, when I was 11, I saw this commercial and they were talking about washing dishes, and only soap for washing dishes was for women. And she said, I didn't think only women wash dishes. It wasn't there. So I wrote to the company. And when I was 11, I wrote my first letter, and then I was 11, and she kept saying she was 11. So she writes to the company. They changed the text. They changed the commercial. And I go, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Guys, just interrupt you there for 1 minute. I was trying not to be rude, but I wanted to be funny because it was so serious. And I go, I just want to give everybody here a context as to how we're different. I said, well, when I was 11, I was playing a prostitute. The place went insane. And then luckily, it was more relaxed after that. And
yeah,
it was
that is a true story, actually.
I never saw Pretty Baby. I think it's from 1976 or something like that. It's a long time ago.
Brooke Shields was definitely preyed upon as a child star, and that's probably a conversation for a different day. But her point was Meghan Markle hopped on a victim narrative when she was 11 years old from watching an offensive commercial. Meanwhile, Brooke Shields was playing a prostitute in a movie at the same age. And maybe she has a little bit more credibility to talk about feminism than Meghan Markle.
The thing, though, Mary, I think that this is pushing back against you for what you said yesterday, which is that the world needs Karens, because if you let the Karens go too far, you end up with 11-year-old Karens who get dish soap.
Well, it's ironic because actually people saw this episode and called Brooke Shields and India Hicks racist Karens for criticizing Meghan Markle. And they weren't even criticizing Meghan Markle.
They were just making a
It
funny
speaks for
story
itself.
And
then
my
this
first thought was,
episode-
what did Meghan Markle think of it? Because she's like, was she just very serious and then felt like it was doing her a disservice and that it took away from the seriousness of her accomplishment at the age of 11?
Meghan Markle was taking herself way too seriously in that moment, and then Brooke Shields introduced a little bit of levity into the room. But there was so much backlash against this episode from rabid Meghan Markle stans that now the episode has mysteriously disappeared from the internet as of just yesterday. But I wanted to show the evidence. Meghan Markle in 1993 wrote letters to not only Hillary Clinton and Gloria Allred after seeing this dish soap commercial. She also wrote to Procter & Gamble's president and called on the company to change the script of the dish soap commercial. Actually, we should just skip ahead and show the news segment that they did on her in the 90s.
The Inside Edition one?
Yes.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Because you'll see what a nothing this really was.
It's the first time little Meghan Markle was on TV, and she was a firecracker even at age 11.
I don't think it's right for kids to grow up thinking these things, that just mom does everything.
For a social studies assignment way back in elementary school in Los Angeles, Meghan and her classmates were asked to watch some commercials and assess their messages.
Recommended by more doctors, pharmacists, and Dr. Mom.
It's always mom does this and mom does that.
In particular, a commercial for Ivory dishwashing liquid caught her attention because it used the word women.
Women are fighting greasy pots and pans.
And I said, wait a minute, how could somebody say that?
Even back then, Meghan struck everyone with her easy charm and intelligence.
Just about 1 out of every 3 commercials is gonna say something.
I'm picturing her doing studies to find out whether that number, remember, 98% of the facts you hear are made up on the spot.
No, go back like a few seconds because we need to like hear the full glory of this sentence.
Intelligence.
Just about 1 out of every 3 commercials is gonna say something that's gonna hurt somebody's feelings.
So Meghan
We wouldn't
took
want
pen
that, now would we?
in hand and wrote a letter to Procter & Gamble. And just look at that penmanship.
Look at that penmanship.
So I was
I
wondering
mean, I've got no room to complain here. She's got me beat.
if you would be able to change your commercial to people all over America.
Here's
Back
the
when kids knew
shocker. The
cursive.
company actually changed the commercial to say people, not women.
The gloves are coming off. People are fighting greasy pots and pans with Ivory Clear.
What
Yeah,
Meghan
but did they actually show any men doing dishes?
Nope. They changed the voiceover, but not the commercial itself.
did landed her on the cable show Nick News in 1993, hosted by Linda Ellerby.
It was absolutely clear that this young woman was strong in
As
her
if
beliefs.
she
It didn't matter
remembers
if she was
shit
11
from
years old. She
1993.
believed-
Bro, I'm sure.
Come on.
Like the cocaine was heavy in the producing chair back
She's
then.
like, oh
I'm sure
yes, I remember. Little 11-year-old Meghan Markle. She was a genius prodigy child. Yeah, as if you remember that. Sure.
In women, she believed in her own power, and she wasn't afraid to reach out and say, I want my power. I want my rights.
Good evening.
you have the right to do dishes. You also have the right to not do dishes.
Okay, we'll move on from this, but this is a story that Meghan Markle has told and retold like 1,000,000 times because she is the quintessential feminist icon that gets invited on all these stupid panels at women's summits and women's power conferences. And I just want to show her telling it at South by Southwest in the vertical video. Yeah, that one. This is what Brooke Shields had to listen to. That's why she had to interrupt her.
Feel as though my voice was being heard. And I think that is a luxury that a lot of young girls and women aren't often afforded. I was 11 years old, and you may know this story. I had seen a commercial that I felt was sexist, and I wrote a letter, several letters about it, and the commercial was changed. When you're 11 years old, and you realize very quickly that your small voice can have a very large impact, I think it creates the framework to feel empowered to use your voice because you know you're being listened to.
It's like getting that first hit of cracktivism at 11 years old, and you're hooked ever since.
See, if only the president of Procter & Gamble had written back to Meghan Markle back then and told her to shut her damn mouth. Maybe we wouldn't have her as a problem on our hands today. Maybe she would have learned that her voice actually doesn't matter.
I mean, clearly her voice does matter.
And then, wait, I just want to show the other one because it's funny that she retells it in a different context, like every year at least.
I was 11 years old, about 11 years old, and I'd seen a commercial on TV for a dishwashing liquid, and the boys in my class at the time said, it said, women all over America are fighting greasy pots and pans. And the boys said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen. And
yeah, women belong in the kitchen. Did your male classmates actually say that to you, Megan? Did they really?
I'm gonna press X to doubt.
Yeah, no.
At 11, I just found that infuriating and wrote lots of letters and put pen to paper, and they ended up changing the commercial to people all over America. It's funny to look back at it now because that was before social media where you had a reach that was so much greater. It was just an 11-year-old with a pen and paper, but it just, I guess, goes to show that if you know that there's something wrong and you're using your voice to advocate in the direction of what is right, that can really land and resonate and make huge change for a lot of people.
Technically, the best way to make that change would for you to start your own dish soap company and make it with men in the ads.
Hillary Clinton and Gloria Allred should have written back to little 11-year-old Meghan Markle and told her, shut the F up. Your voice doesn't matter. You're not an activist. Do your homework. Stop bothering me with this nonsense. I have people to bomb in the Middle East. Gloria Allred was like, I have a lot on my plate. I'm defending Me Too cases. I don't care about your dish soap commercial, Megan. This doesn't matter.
You know, I laugh.
Hillary Clinton was like, I have people to kill. Can you leave me alone?
I would give it the best perspective would be like, this just lets you know how easy things are in America when these are your forms of concern.
Yes.
That the commercials are not targeted in the way. The funny thing is any advertising agent will tell you that the philosophy, at least at one point, was like, look, the men were at work and the women were buying the groceries and doing the dishes at home. So they had the spending power because they were out buying all of the stuff for the house. So you market towards women because they're the ones who control the pocketbook at home. So making that commercial was actually just a product of lots of research that says market to women because they're the ones who spend money after seeing ads on stuff like this. Mm-hmm. It certainly doesn't make it seem as if men don't do dishes. It's just saying in a busy home where the guy is likely at work, because this was at a time where you could survive off of a one-income household, that the guy would have been at work and the woman was doing dishes, and it had nothing to do with your rights or, men versus women. It had to do with who is most likely to see this advertisement, who is most likely at this time to be the one doing dishes. And that was the women of the household.
Yeah.
It wasn't sexist. It was market research.
Exactly. And I think it's no coincidence that Meghan Markle at such a young age would interpret a commercial so benign as sexist. I think she was probably raised with these values. You're not just actually born a feminist. I was joking when I said that. It's almost certain that her parents raised her to think that way and to look for grievances in every corner. And I don't remember thinking this way at the age of 11. I remember playing with dolls and reading books and, watching cartoons. I didn't think about being part of a social movement and being an activist. That wasn't anything on my mind.
If you made a commercial for Barbie dolls and a commercial for G.I. Joe, it just makes more sense to show little girls playing with the Barbie dolls and boys playing with G.I. Joe because that's who's going to go and buy it. It's not me. It's biology.
They didn't say dumb bitches all over the country are fighting greasy pots and pans. They didn't say
If anything, they probably thought that it was, it's actually supposed to be some type of anthem to help women.
Yeah.
We are here to make your dishwashing easier.
They care about women.
Look, if you go watch a commercial for lawn care, It's dudes doing lawn care. It's a guy mowing the lawn.
The whole sales pitch of these dish soaps as well is for women because they don't like how it makes the harsh soap makes the skin on their hands rough. Men would never care about that.
At least she didn't ask for inclusivity in Toro lawnmower commercials. Or something like that.
Well, clearly Meghan Markle hasn't slowed down ever since, and she has been looking for grievances everywhere. Ever since 1993. It never stopped.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.